Welcome to Maker Conversations. I'm your host, Tiff Marchand from NIGHTCARVER Designs, and today on the show I have Jeff from Greene Street Joinery. Jeff is a fine craftsman from New Jersey, super talented and very, very aware of the environment and its impacts, and wants to build furniture that's going to last. So I also invited a good friend, Matt from IKAG. I know a guy on Instagram. He is super talented, a cabinet maker, everything kind of guy. If you want to join Patreon, there is a Patreon special that is just myself and Matt as we stalk Jeff and just chit chat before we go on. And I think you'll really enjoy it. So head on over to Patreon/Maker Conversations to join. There's a few different tier levels, and I think they are all fun and very valuable. So thank you for taking care of the show and helping me support it by either listening or joining the Patreon. I really appreciate it. Well, welcome to the show, first of all. But I asked Matt to join us because, first of all, I know we both love him, and you guys have very similar lifestyles. Like, you know, like you both are in the shop all day. It's full time. This is your life. Like, it's not a joke. This is your life, you know? Mm-hmm. And not that what we do is a joke, but you know, we have full-time jobs that we have pay coming in every week. Your livelihood. This is, you know, this is you. So yeah, it's sink or swim in these two shops. Mm-hmm. And I like that. I thought you guys would be balance. Yeah. A lot of fun things to relate. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we were just stalking you a little, not on Instagram though, because I feel like your Instagram is just so pretty and it's just going to be pretty all the way down. So I didn't need to go and do that look. No, does it get a little shiny? Okay. What'd you do down there? Is there going to be some pocket holes somewhere that I'm going to find? Oh, we use pocket holes. We see, don't, I don't judge them. We don't claim to not. We have a nice pocket hole machine though.
That's true.
What's a nice one?
You're doing them right. They're tasteful pocket holes when Jeff does them.
Right. They're all very evenly spaced, very, well thought out where they're put. But yeah, we have an old Porter cable. If you've heard of Castle. So Castle used to make these pocket hole machines for Porter cable. So it's basically a TSM 12, I think is the model number of what they're making now. So it's nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. See, yeah. Who knew?
Router based systems, right, Jeff, as opposed to a drill bit for the correct stuff.
Yeah, so it uses two routers, like a 1.25 horsepower to actually plow the 3/8 pocket hole itself, and then there's a 964 spit that runs on a small palm router, and that's actually, it comes in from the front and drills that hole so your screw can go through.
Perfect. See, I made the mistake of mentioning woodworking, and look at you guys got all like, yeah, let's talk this through.
This is the wood temple right here. I'm in the American Craftsman podcast studio.
I love it. How was your day today? Or both your guys' day, actually. Yeah, not bad.
What did I do today? Let's see. I woke up. I cut the grass. That's the first thing I did.
That first
time, first of the year, yeah. Which kind of, it almost brought a tear to my eye to have to go out there and do it, but I'm not a fan. Not a fan of cutting the grass.
Now, did the mower start right up, or was there issues? I mean, this is the first, whenever you pull that out for the first time.
I have an ego. I pop the battery in and I'm off.
There you go.
See, true to his word. We were just in your Amazon store. I said, there's a lot of tools in here, but there's also a couple of, stuff in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have some stuff in there? I don't even remember.
Really? It's well organized.
Yeah, we seem to get a little bit of traffic there, so I don't know. Whatever.
Is it Rob doing all that, or is that you?
No, I'm definitely the technology guy.
Yeah. Rob's the more poetic guy on the side.
Rob's the artist.
Yeah.
definitely has more of like an artistic brain, and I'm more of like maybe analytical type of brain.
Got you. And we should mention that he is your partner in this business, by the way, Greene Street
Right,
Joinery.
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Rob
We're
Barone.
all very comfortable with each other because we talk on Clubhouse, or
Right.
so I always forget this is a broader audience here that's going to be listening. So that's cool though. Like, have you always built things? Like, I'm assuming.
No. So I got into like general carpentry back in 2012. I worked, so I'm 33. That gives you a little bit of age and timeline sort of idea. I worked in restaurants from the time I was like, whatever, 13 or 14, whenever you can start working.
Yeah.
Up until 2012, I was working in restaurants. I waited tables, I bartended, I managed restaurants. So in 2012, Hurricane Sandy hit New Jersey and New York and the surrounding area. But the restaurant I was working in, it took like probably 7 feet of water. It was totally destroyed.
Oh, wow.
Same thing in my house. I lost my car. It was crazy. So I'm out of work, we're waiting for this place to reopen. We all went in and we ripped the place apart to get it, ready to be fixed up and stuff. And I get a call from my boss. He says, "Hey, so-and-so, who's a client of the restaurant, he's been working with a general contractor and he wants to know if anybody, needs work." So I'm like, yeah, definitely. This is like around Thanksgiving time. So probably about a month after the storm. So I picked up just like literally just general labor work with this guy. We're going and cutting sheetrock out at 24 inches because, basically the whole coast of New Jersey was flooded it wasn't even a hurricane, Superstorm Sandy, they call it. So yeah, just doing like real grunt work, a little bit of painting, maybe
learning
cutting
as you go.
Right. And I had no idea. I had never done any of this stuff. Not to say my dad wasn't like handy, but he wasn't a woodworker or a mechanic or anything of that sort. So I didn't even grow up really doing that kind of stuff. But I really enjoyed it when I started to do it. And eventually I got a job with a custom builder and started out as like the low man on the totem pole with the trim crew. And then, over the course of a couple of years, I worked my way up to the lead finish carpenter. And from there, yeah. And Matt knows this. I've told him this before. It's like always this fear of being found out, that you have no clue what you're doing, is what drove me to learn. Learn as much as I can.
To be such a good student. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So every day I would go home and YouTube, the contractor talk forums, all kinds of stuff, just trying to learn and figure out more so that when I went to work, I didn't feel like such an idiot and I didn't feel like, I didn't know what I was doing.
That's awesome though. Not a lot of people do that. Like some people just la 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 la, through their life. And I like that you took that extra step and you did that research.
Yeah. I mean, there's no worse feeling than somebody being like, "What's your problem?" Like, you don't know what do you mean? You don't know how to cut, a 22.5 degree miter or whatever, anything.
Yep.
So yeah, so I hit the ceiling at that job. I was doing, a lot of custom trim, coffered ceiling, stuff like that. And sort of like running the finish phase of the job. So I got word of an opening at a cabinet shop. And it was actually the shop that Rob had been working at. That's where we met. He was installing a kitchen on a job that I was working on as the carpenter. And that's how we met. We hit it off, off the bat. We were shooting the shit, talking about, let me know if I'm not allowed to say.
Oh, no, this is swearing, whatever
okay.
you want. Yeah, this is, explain. Yeah, no.
Let the floodgates open.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Be free.
So, yeah, I mean, Rob and I hit it off the bat. And then like I didn't see him for, it was a couple years later. I end up getting a job at this cabinet shop as the installer. So I was the sole installer. I installed all the kitchens and millwork.
Yeah.
And then when I wasn't installing, like if there wasn't an install, I was in the shop and I built basically the special. So anything that was weird or complicated, I kind of built that stuff. And then 3 years ago, Rob and I started Greene Street Joinery.
That's awesome. I was curious how long it's been.
Yeah, it'll be 3 years in September. So not even three yet.
That is crazy.
2.5 years.
That's awesome.
Impressive. You guys
Matt.
have built it up very, very quickly, very
They
impressively.
did,
But
right?
it's like it's the coming together. I mean, you can hear it right there. The guy's got insane amounts of field experience. And then when you match that up with, Rob, who also has a ton of experience in, the artistic side, the organization, you guys, including all the fusion stuff, it's all coming together. It's awesome. You guys, you present it extremely well, and it makes sense that it works. It's awesome. It's so fun that, we get to interact and know you guys, because you teach a lot, or not a lot, you teach so much. Everything you do is something that can be learned from, because it's done right.
Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate it, but it's still that feeling in the pit of your stomach
Of course.
that you're going to get found out,
Absolutely.
that I haven't, because here's the thing. I compare myself to everyone else. So then I see these people, and guys who I talk to all the time, guys like Freddie Roman or anybody, these furniture makers, I compare myself to them. Like, I know nothing. So I better just keep grinding and
Yeah.
trying to figure all this out, because like if I want to rub shoulders with these guys, then I have to be able to back up, and be deserving of being in that sort of place.
Is that why your podcast kind of did that like tip to going over like the different genres? I guess would it be the term? What is the term like of different styles of furniture?
Eras?
Yeah, we're calling it like
eras.
the periods.
Yeah,
12
periods. Yeah.
12 periods of American furniture. Maybe subconsciously it was. We've definitely learned a lot.
Because you do a lot of research, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
can see these are all furniture books back here. And we do a lot of research online. We wanted to be able to offer something to people that wasn't just entertainment. Like there's a lot of podcasts out there, and I'd say 95% of them are kind of like entertainment based. So when we finished the first season and we were thinking of what are we going to do for the second season to change things up, because we kind of saw a dip in the listenership. We knew we had to do something. So, this was one of the ideas we came up with, is let's take the 12 periods of American furniture, we'll split it up into 4 episodes each. And we try and, teach people about American furniture. It's the American Craftsman podcast after all. So.
Yeah. I think it's perfect. It's a great fit, and it definitely benefits you guys. Like me having this podcast and talking to all the different makers benefits me, because I'm learning everyone's different techniques, stuff like that. So for you to go through and do all those researches on every single error that we have, like that's insane. Now you have so much more knowledge for whatever you want to do, and inspiration too. Like I can't even imagine.
Yeah, definitely inspiration. And we've like amassed probably by this point, let's see, we're on episode 30, I think was released on Friday, the second season.
Nice.
So we're probably looking at like 150 pages just so far.
Wow.
We'll have, if we do full 52 episodes, we have a couple ideas for other episodes. We have anywhere between like 4 to 7 pages per episode of outline. So
are you doing a
talking
book
about-
at the end?
I was gonna say, yeah, you're gonna compile it or what?
A lot of people have said that. Maybe we should. I don't know.
You really should. I say just publish it. I mean, look at how like a lot of people on Clubhouse just publishing books on Amazon. It's that easy. Why not? If you have it all documented, just put it together, make a little pretty package, and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, definitely it needs some editing. It's kind of rough,
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's not going to be as simple as just, but you got a huge start. It feels like might as well.
I got something. I want to know about the baking, because I saw that trifle you made and the bread.
I used to work at a local grocery store as a baker for I think 4 or 5 years. And then me and my sister did a cake business. So we went like to cake, like I used to be a cake decorator and everything too. So we went to just like Michael's, cake decorating school or whatever, got that thing. And then we did it out of our houses for, I think, 7 years of my life until I had the kids. So I was doing pretty recently, and I used to sell those Easter breads. Like I used to actually when I had no kids, I had time to dye all the eggs and let them dry. And that way they'd be like real colorful and fun breads. And I would sell them every Easter. Like I would do biscotti for Christmas. So we're Italian. So like we'd make a big, huge, giant batches of biscotti, and then we would just package them up in little gift boxes and sell them. And like, so that's like part of my, when we were at Workbench Con and they went to like the newbie meeting, and they're like, so how long have you been content creating and selling goods online? And people were like, they're like 1 year. And they, like a lot of people were still standing. 2 years, like half the room goes down. 3 years, and then like they kept going. They're like 10 years, and there's like only 2 people, which is like me and somebody else. 15, I'm still standing. The other person's down. I'm like, and she's just like, I'm like, I've been doing this for a while. I don't know. It was just really funny because like it hit me. I go to my house and I'm like, damn, okay. I didn't like I don't realize how so many people are still so new to it, because I've been doing it since I was a kid, It's just kind of naturally grown with it. But yeah, so I've been a baker.
I like to bake.
What do you make?
Anything.
Really? Yeah. Nothing special for holidays.
I mean, Christmas time, you do the cookies. I had fun with that this year with my son. He'll be 4 in, was it 2 months? So it's a good time now. Yeah, where he's just old enough to be able to do like some little things and not like create a ton of havoc for me. So we in a day baked like, I don't know, 6 or 7 different kinds of cookies. It was fun.
That's awesome though. I like doing the cutout cookies with the kids because it's like the instant gratification for them.
Yeah.
It's hard because it's just chaos, but it's cute.
Yeah, rolling out the dough. That's
the problem. And then it gets too hot, and then you got to put it back in the freezer. Like it's fun in theory, but it is a pain.
Yeah. And I use a big disher to do cookies. So it's like, you don't have to make that many because they're huge. The cookies are like this big.
I see. Plus you don't feel guilty that you only had one cookie.
Perfect.
Rob and I were talking about that recently.
Make them big so you don't feel guilty that you only had one.
Well, no, you still have like 3, but
they're thin.
You roll them out big, thin,
It's deceptive. I mean, yeah, I forget how it came up. Sometimes you read a recipe, it's like drop by rounded teaspoonful. I'm like, a teaspoon? You're making like Nilla wafers.
Those things will burn up too. You'll cook them for 15 seconds and they'll be cooked.
It's just kind
use
of
a
funny
1 ounce disher.
As like a guy, I could see this. Like you're like, I want a meal here when I'm baking. I don't want to just grab this little cookie.
And you're gonna be cooking cookies for the whole day because it's like 1,000 batches. I want to do 2 pans and call it a day.
Just in and out, done.
12 cookies.
Yeah. I can't even fit 12 on a thing. They're so big.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, that wouldn't work. It's like a.
Oh, I was thinking 12
6,
between
9.
the 2 sheets. Just 6.
Oh yeah. Usually I get 8. I get 8 on a sheet. I'll do 6 and then 2, 2, 2, and then 1 in
the holes.
Whatever.
So true.
Whatever. It's like a dice layout.
So anyone who bakes is totally gonna relate to this, by the way. They're gonna be like, yup.
Fun fact, you didn't know that I bake.
See?
No, I did not. This is news to me. And I honestly, my baking career it's on hiatus currently. I'm sure it's soon to come back. I
just getting started
with my mother. It's been 10, 12 years since I've probably done that kind of stuff. And it's surely coming up upon me that'll be a part of my life.
Yeah, no, it's coming back for me too, which is funny because like it's been 6 years. I haven't really done it that often. And now like the kids are like, wait, Mom, you know how to bake? I'm like, shit. Because now they're just like, can we do this? Can we do this? Because like they didn't know, but I have like a giant storage cabinet of like all kinds of different like themed pans and stuff. Like they saw like the ghosts, the giant pumpkins, like all these things are like, and the skulls. They're like, oh. I'm like, oh gosh.
All the requests are rolling in.
Now that they know what's in there, absolutely. I'm sure your son's gonna be the same way too, Jeff.
Oh yeah, and my wife is a big baker. She made a
Awesome.
her sister's birthday is tomorrow, which also happens to be Easter.
Easter, yeah.
But she made like it's like a s'mores cake or something. It's like chocolate cake with chocolate ganache and toasted marshmallows and I don't know what the frosting is. Oh, it's like an Italian meringue.
Oh,
And then
okay.
it's torched. It's pretty serious.
That sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it smelled very good.
I did funfetti with chocolate pudding, whipped cream, and M&Ms. Yeah.
Yeah,
got
that's
fancy
just like
here.
it's just
Heaven?
a straight classic
Mm-hmm.
funfetti.
Oh yeah. It was just yellow cake, and I was like, I've got rainbow sprinkles. I can change this.
Spice it up.
Yeah, exactly. Now that everyone's hungry after this podcast. Oh God. So what made you want to have your business, like to branch off and do it for yourself? Because that's a lot of responsibility. I'm just curious.
Yeah, so the shop where Rob and I worked, it was chaotic to say the least. The owner, one of those guys who has a relatively successful business, but once you're there for a little while, you realize that like the guy has no business owning a business. Horrible business person, a horrible manager. Just he was just really bad at it.
Yeah.
So we were always trying to improve the company, along with the other guys that worked there. Manny, you guys met Manny at Maker Camp. He worked there.
Yep.
Thankfully he was able to get out as well. So we're always trying to fix all of these, gaping wounds in the company that are just like bleeding out money. And it never really worked. The guy, he wasn't having it. They would listen, and then we'd say, okay, we're going to change some things, and then it would never change. So we had been planning, and scheming to try and do our own thing for a while. And Rob had his own business before. He just, he was getting older. He was sick of working by himself. He had hurt his elbow. So he made the call to go work at this shop. So he had been working there for a couple of years. And Rob ends up getting laid off the day after Christmas. Yeah, the guy says, oh, we're going to be slow for a couple of weeks. So if you don't mind, just stay home for a couple of weeks, and I'll give you a call in a couple of weeks. Well, he never called. They butt heads a lot, because Rob, having run his own business, had real tangible proof to back up all these claims that we were making. We'd have these meetings like, why are we doing this when we should be doing this? And Rob was able to say, I did it this way and I made this much money, or by doing this, we can save this much money. So he always had a stick up his ass for Rob. So Rob gets laid off, and I'm still working there. That's in December. And I was there until September, I believe. It was like Labor Day. My mother-in-law actually ended up in the hospital with a heart issue. So she's like a super healthy woman, eats well, does yoga, exercises, all that. And I think it turns out this wasn't the case, but the doctors were like, listen, this is from work. The stress is going to kill you. She had to get a pacemaker. So at that point, I had been at home for a couple of days because my wife was with her mom, and I was at home, watching our son. And I'm like, man, I got to fucking get out of this job. Cause it was really bad. It was, when you wake up and you're like, I don't want to go to work, and you come home and the things from the day are eating you alive.
Mm-hmm.
So
I understand that.
Yeah, we had been trying.
You guys know. Yeah, I understand that.
I won't say but I have a question for you later.
Sure.
We had been trying to get a bunch of jobs lined up, so I was able to just cut loose and start Greene Street Joinery.
Awesome, dude.
But that was just a straw that broke the camel's back. And I, talked to my wife about it and decided, I got to cut and run. So I sent a letter of resignation. I gave them, my 2 weeks, and that was that. I took a leap of faith, really.
That's exciting. And
We
you
had
can
like one job lined up.
That's balls, dude.
Yeah.
That's
It
balls.
wasn't even a big job.
You're like, I've got this $400 job lined up. We'll be good.
Yeah, it was scary.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
is.
It is scary. And you already had your son already, right?
Yeah, he was let's see, that was 3. He was going on 2.
Yeah.
Tell me about that laser.
Oh, this thing?
Or
Oh,
you can
this?
ask about me.
No,
It's
no,
fine.
no.
That's cool too.
You can look at the laser. I haven't used it yet, but it's a 70 watt. And it's a 14 by 20 cutting area. But all these little panels come through on all 4 sides, so you can slide through as big as you want for like length and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because Rob and we're doing a little window shopping on a laser.
Oh,
Believe it or
yeah.
not. As shocking as that may sound.
No, it's not shocking,
Wow.
because you know what? It's just technology. It's just a tool.
Well, we have a commission that we're still in the sort of research and development stage for high quantities of basically it's a finger jointed box. I guess I can't say at the moment who or what it's for,
Oh,
but
that's no worries. But how thick is the wood?
it's 3/8 walnut.
Okay.
So we're looking at like the 90, 100 watt, maybe 150 watt range.
Right. You wanted to cut through a nice, decent
Right.
size. Yeah.
Because the only way to really make that unit price low enough is to
Not be
do
cutting
something
those.
like that.
Yeah. Yourself.
Yeah, it's a lot of time to build those boxes, the way that we typically build things.
That's cool. That's a great application for it.
Yeah. I actually have Chad from Chad's Custom Creations.
Mm-hmm.
He was at Maker Camp. I sent him a file to see if he can try cutting it out as our proof of concept, but yeah, we're ready to drop like 10,000 on a laser.
That's awesome. Yeah, this was 8. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks nice. What's the
Yeah.
brand? Boss Laser?
Yeah, it's Boss Laser. It was
I
8,
don't know
and that was
anything
delivered.
about.
So
I
they're
don't know.
they're American. So American made. Obviously, the
Mhm.
parts came from somewhere else, probably,
Yeah.
but they assemble it all in Sanford, Florida, and then they ship them out from there. And the nice part about them is you can just call the salesperson and chat like directly right to the person. You can
That's
call their
cool.
tech support and chat with them if something goes wrong. And the only thing that I think they're lacking is they don't have like a big community. And that's what I'm going to try to
Mhm.
change with them, because they don't sponsor people really. But I think the reason they don't have a big community is because they're so good at their job of like
Right.
handling issues that people don't have to have a community. But I think that everybody who uses a certain brand should have a community, because like you want to be able to like learn things from people and get tips and tricks for your machine, and not
Yeah.
like, it's nice to learn on other people's machines, but you want to learn directly on what's the nice things to know about your tool. So I'm hoping they
Yeah,
build
that's one of the
out.
advantages to buying like the, most popular tool,
Mhm. Everyone's
in any
using it.
given, right. There's all those people that had to figure out and screw up. And now
Yes.
you can,
Yep.
find out from them like, oh, don't do this because,
Yeah. And I was going to get, and was it OM Tech or OMTech? I always say it differently, but I
Yeah, I
was
was
going to
looking
go
at
with them
those.
because they gave me an affiliate offer and everything. So that would have been sweet. But the machine wouldn't have fit in this room. And
Mhm.
this machine barely fit in this room. So that's why I had to get Boss, because they had a 70 watt that was in a smaller size that would make it through all these doors.
That's our struggle is the shop
Limitations.
is small. Yeah. So it definitely cannot live in the shop full time, no matter what we get.
Oh, really?
I don't know. This may have to go in my basement right here.
Yeah. I mean, that's where mine is. Because I don't want to worry about having the CO2 like tube explode on me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because if the temperature goes too low or too high, it's not good for it. So
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm just dipping my toes into knowing anything about a laser, to be honest.
oh, me too. I haven't even turned it on yet. I'm not even joking. They forgot to send me one cable, so it's on its way over. It should be here, I think, Monday. But yeah, so I haven't even turned it on yet, but I have nothing to cut on it yet anyways. I'm making, like, I bought it for a certain product that I want to make that I can't talk about too much either because I think it's going to be nice. So I have to design all the files though. I haven't done it yet because I took on the new jobs. So I'm like, I actually sat down today and it was the very first time that I actually opened up something and started creating. So I'm excited. Like I'm finally in the creation stages, and soon enough I'll be playing with it.
Nice. Yeah, I had to draw that file for the first time, a laser file. And Chad's telling me, yeah, just get Inkscape and try that. And I opened it up and it was like totally confusing. Like it seems
Inkscape
simple.
is weird. It's so weird. I
like I can draw in Fusion, but I had Inkscape and I couldn't figure it out. So I did. I figured out a way to do it.
I don't like programs.
On Fusion.
Oh, you SketchUp. You SketchUp. Yeah, you SketchUp.
I get Inkscape. The only thing I don't have right now that everyone else apparently has is a secret laser project. So I don't have anything like that going on.
Yet,
I'm sorry.
not yet.
You have some more room in that shop, I'm sure. I mean, you could just move some wood from one corner to another corner. It'd be all right.
Oh yeah, if anybody wants to store a laser here, I can totally clear out a corner. That's no problem. You guys. Coin and the reason to buy one. I just have a little bit of space. I don't have the money, but you can put it here.
It's a little far for us.
Yeah. For Matt, I could see you doing like custom molding for some reason, like really cool decorative things if somebody wanted it on a piece. Yeah. Like just like different little, yeah. Because I've never really thought about a laser in a furniture shop. Like what could it be used for? But a lot.
Definitely templates.
Templates. Yep. Yeah.
100%. Like you said, different. Even honestly, you said moldings, but I'm thinking of it in even a different way. Where I could cut out the plexiglass template, guide the grinder, and grind custom knives to cut profiles.
So, yeah, to make molding.
Exactly. You make a little template thing. There's different ways to use it, but for sure, anytime you need something that's super precise. You run the router against it, and being able to have one that's powerful enough to cut what you guys are talking about, 1/4-3/8 acrylic or little plywood or whatever, that would be super cool.
That's exactly why I thought about it, because I remember, like, actually when I first met you, Matt, you were like custom cutting some knives to do like a custom molding. You were trying to match something on a job, if I remember right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a tough thing to do. It was exactly that. Was cutting out the plexiglass. I actually tried different scroll saw blades. It kept like melting, like sealing itself back up. It was so funny. I would go and make the entire cut with the scroll saw, and then the two pieces would be melted together, so you couldn't take them apart because it went through and it was going up and down so fast. It was literally it would go along the line. It looked like you cut it, and then you couldn't take them apart. You're
satisfied the whole way through, and you try to do like the snap. You're like,
nope. Completely sealed.
Oh man.
But you learn. You take out a hacksaw and you do it by hand and you file it and you sand it. Like you said, Jeff said it. You always find it. There's always
it's the school of hard knocks.
Mm-hmm. Your website, by the way, we were stalking you a little bit, and I loved just how bold you are with exactly who you are, what you're making, and why you're making it. Like we read like your little taglines and everything. I like it though.
Wow, thanks.
It's like, this is who we are. Like we're trying to build stuff that's gonna like last and not just fade out.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a lot because we shot the 4 episodes on Thursday, or recorded, I should say, of the arts and crafts period. Like we're true adherents to the arts and crafts ideology of furniture and of working, just you do the best that you can and you always try and do better.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's perfect. You laid it out very clearly. I was going to ask you, how often do you guys go through and update that website? It looks like it's, brand spanking new, fresh. Is that like a once a quarter thing or what?
No. I've made some slight changes here and there since I put the website together. A lot of the writing is Rob's. I changed some pictures around, and stuff like that. But yeah, I haven't changed it much. It's been up probably 2 years now.
Yeah.
We had just like sort of like a page on Rob's old website before that we were redirecting to.
It's a great landing spot, though. It brings you to your page. It shows your, examples of your work. It's nice.
What I want to do is get that video that Walter Peters shot for us, and to get that as like a pop-up. So when you go to the website, that's the first thing that pops up. It's on my to-do list, which is pretty long.
I understand that. I feel
And
like
who do
I'm
you
just
host
finally
with,
getting
Jeff?
there. What was that, Matt?
Who do you host with? What company do you have your website through?
That's Weebly.
Weebly. Yep.
Yeah. So it's, I think, Square technically, because we have the e-commerce section of the website. So it has to go through that. But it's like a Weebly built website. So it's really just like a drag and drop.
I was going to say, it's probably fairly
thing.
easy to pop it on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm no web designer. There's no SEO on there. It definitely,
Yeah.
it needs work by a professional, but when you're busy enough, it really doesn't make sense to put any money into that because,
It's working. Yeah. Or at least something is working.
Yeah, maybe if we have some money left over at the end of this year, we got to get rid of before the tax man finds out about it. We'll put a little money into the website.
I was going to say, it comes to the point too, is like when you're so busy with stuff to just hire somebody for some things. We can't do it all.
We're firm believers in that. Upholstery, we hire out for that. All kinds of stuff. Like if there's somebody that does it full time, typically it's going to be more cost effective to pay them full price versus trying to figure it out yourself.
Mm-hmm. The amount of time that something can save you, it's crazy.
Yeah. That's not to say that sometimes you shouldn't do it the other way and learn yourself, because we do that as well. But you can't do that on every job.
No.
You'll bury yourself.
Yeah.
Tell me what that's about. I live under the pile that I buried myself under every day.
Yeah,
you really do live
tough.
under a pile over there, man. You always have so many cool things popping out of your shop, Matt, though. You're constantly moving.
We're getting there. It's going to get exciting as far as things looking like finished products in the next like 2 weeks. It's going to start to look like I actually do complete something out of here. And it's not always wood that's just in process. It's like, oh, here's some wood. It moved over here. Now it looks like this.
Yeah, then you have to give it away. It's like giving away, one of your children.
It is hard to get rid of a product when it's done.
It'll be good. And actually, this is a nice as far as it doesn't really have to go very far, because this is at my parents' house, so I'll visit it all the time.
There you go. Oh, that's their island that you're working on now?
Oh yeah, it's all everything that you've seen out of me for the last 6 months has probably been my parents' house.
Oh wow, they're just like redoing it.
The addition, the bathroom project upstairs, it's all at the same house. And then obviously I've mixed in some projects at our house in preparation for the kid coming. So that was some little stuff sprinkled in, but it's been pretty much that, just because of exactly what Jeff said, taking on, not that I self-performed too many things, but I mean, stuff like a tile bathroom took me out of this shop for I have no business tiling a shower when I need to be here making cabinets. It's like you said, it's knowing your lane. It's knowing when to hire the professional and making the call. Obviously, it's also having professionals on call that you can, call and refer to. Is obviously my lack of a tile guy is what led me to be in that bathroom doing the tile work. But in the future, don't take on a tile job until you have a tile guy lined up.
Yeah.
That's the hard part too, is finding somebody that's good and who you can trust.
In being small, I only can really turn over, what am I going to do, 1 or 2 bathrooms a year and everything else. So who's going to pick up my phone call and be a tile guy that's going to be awesome, super responsive, coming in? It's like, they don't care. They have plenty of other work. So it's like, it's one of those tough things, but you figure it out.
You'll get yourself an apprentice one day too, and that'll help.
That's something that I was going to say as well. It's one of the biggest superpowers of these two as well. Besides the immense amounts of experience they both have, being together, being able to collaborate, being able to just work. You stand on either side of the tool, pass the whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You sand this while I cut this, that kind of stuff. Where when I leave this place, the lights go off. Not that you guys ever really split up too much, but you know what I'm saying. Like having that 2-man power it's awesome. It's been fun to see you guys.
Yeah. There's so many processes that are so much easier with two guys, and you able to build up a momentum. It's a good dynamic. We had a third partner for a while, and it was a total hindrance. Much better with just two people.
And you're in a small shop too, so it just makes sense.
Yeah, we're only 800 square feet, so and we have a lot of machines.
Matt, how big is your place? I'm just looking at it. Looks pretty huge.
Yeah, no, the total rental space is 2,500, I believe, square feet.
Look at that.
And I think this is about 30 by 40. So this is only like 1,200 out here, actually. So the shop itself is 1,200 square. And then I have all these other things that are great, like bathrooms and things, places to put dust collection. I have a spray booth in the back that's separated. But it's hilarious because Jeff knows, I mean, you could give us 10,000 square feet and we'll eventually fill it up with tools and stuff. And,
Oh, yeah.
and you can see you can barely even walk around in here with all the paint frames and all this crap that's everywhere just because this is how it goes. You build stuff, it takes up a ton of room. I mean, these guys, they build a couple of big, huge cabinet boxes that they have to like stack them up to the ceiling just to be able to get around.
Oh, it's bad right now. Yeah, it's bad.
What are you working on, Jeff?
So right now we're working on a bunch of closets for the builder I used to work for. So there is one closet that is in maple, and then another closet that's in cherry. And we already delivered all the parts for 3 other closets in maple, but the one we're doing now is a master closet, and it's like 3 12-foot walls of 24-inch deep. Yeah,
Nice.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
So we like built the boxes, and then we stacked them all, they're all 7 feet tall. We stacked them all on one side of the shop, and then they're next to the wide belt sanders. So then we're building the face frames. We got to move the stuff to get to that. And it's, you're jockeying stuff around. It's tough.
So what is your goals? Like, are you trying to get to a bigger shop now, or is that something you're not trying to worry about right now and just kind of keep grinding out, playing the game like safe? And I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah. I mean, I think the ultimate dream is, I don't know if you've ever heard of a guy, Thomas Moser, Viz. I'm sure you've
He
heard.
might,
Thos Moser, THOS is the name of the company, which it stands for Thomas. He is in,
I think it's Maine, right?
yeah, I was going to say Maine. And they have showrooms in New York and all over the place. It's a big furniture company, but they still do everything, really well. They're just like us, where and obviously they have bigger machines, but
Right.
It's hybrid woodworking where there's handwork and there's machine work. And they sell a really good product, a really nicely designed product for
Nice.
a very fair price, I think. And they're giving people good jobs. And that's what we would really like to have, is something like that, where, we could have a line of furniture, or multiple lines of furniture, and have a shop where, we can employ people and put out a good product, and then have time to do our own wacky stuff on the side. That's the ultimate dream, is to just build whatever you want. That's why at the beginning of the year, we built 2 spec pieces. Actually, I have that cherry bench right here. Because that's what every furniture maker wants to do, I think, is build what they want to build and then sell it. They don't want to have to do commissions.
I think that's every artist too. Like, I'm at that point right now too. It's
Mhm.
just like, now I say that as I'm going to be getting back into customizable pieces again, but I took a nice hiatus from it and it was wonderful. It felt so good. And one day I'll be doing that again too. But
Yeah, I mean, dealing
Yeah.
with clients, like I'm dealing with a client now on this job where we're replacing cabinetry that got damaged by a big storm that we had. And, so I make this design, improve it wildly aesthetically and functionally from what they had. And they just want this bad, ugly design. Like, and, when you're somewhat creative, and I'm somewhat creative, and I think, my design eye is getting better. It's painful to argue with these people because they think they know better than you. And, you have to just basically bend to their will.
Right. If you want that
Because
job.
at the end of the day, if you want to get the job, you have to give them what they want. So there's only so much pushing you can do. So to cut that whole headache out of it would be great.
Yeah. Awesome. What kind of furniture would you make, or would you do various styles?
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Just whatever.
Nice. So we're going to be seeing some more spec
crops up.
pieces coming out then, I'm assuming, when you have time.
Yeah,
Cool.
definitely. I still have to sell this one. We sold the other one, but
We saw. Again,
Love
we're
it.
good stalkers.
Did our
we were
homework.
thinking about raffling off this bench. But logistically, just trying to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, that's too much
Yeah.
work.
Selling
Enjoy.
tickets, and then maybe $100 a pop. You sell how many?
30 slots, right? What'd you have it up for?
It's $37.50,
Oh,
but then
okay.
we would have to
20 bucks.
factor in freight.
Shipping,
So you're probably talking about like $5,000.
Yeah.
So whatever, sell 50 tickets at $100. Whoever gets picked, you won it. $100.
Actually, I was going to ask about just your podcast and the people who follow you and who you interact with. Do you interact with primarily, at least on Instagram, other furniture makers, would you say? Or is it a mixed bag? Yeah, I would
definitely.
assume. Yeah.
I mean, I get messages from all kinds of people, I'd say. But the people that I'm actively talking to on a regular basis are all other, for the most part, business owners building casework and furniture.
That's cool. I mean, it makes sense too why your podcast has been doing really well now, right? With the topic switch, and you must be growing a community around it, I would assume, at least within you two.
Yeah. Actually, so we delivered those 2 oak pieces with the brass mesh panels. I don't know if you guys saw on Instagram, sort of like a mid-century. So we delivered those on Friday, and we're standing around shooting the shit with the client, and he was talking about something. I said, "How did you find us, by the way?" And he goes, "Well, during the pandemic, I found your podcast and I started listening to it." And so that was the first,
That's so awesome.
first client to have come from the podcast. And I think he was like embarrassed because they came to the shop and we talked back and forth for a long time, and he had never mentioned it. Yeah.
That's
His
so
wife
cool.
was like, I'd walk up there and hear your voice, one of your guys' voice. I'd be like, "You still listen to this stupid podcast?"
So he's a furniture fan then. He may not make it, but he appreciates it.
Yeah, he's like in commercial real estate and construction. So he said he always liked working with his hands, and we're talking about that, having that ability to see a tangible finished product is really important and satisfying. If you work in an office and you move numbers around all day, what do you actually get to see at the end? A chart that says, "Look, we made more money." It's not the same.
No.
As being able to touch something and see it and see the look on a person's face when you drop it off.
That's so true. This is so true, because I experience both of those things on a daily basis. Like you ship off a piece of art and you get the reaction video, and it's so exciting. And then I crunch spreadsheets all day, and it's like, oh, look at pretty numbers.
Popeyes is like, "Damn it, you spelled nugget wrong."
That's supposed to be spicy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Jeff, I'm sure that's what kind of fueled your love for it when you transitioned from doing restaurant stuff. It's like you had a restaurant, you're still making stuff, but then you're handing it off to somebody else to go and enjoy. Yes, at the end of the day, you're doing work. It's for a client, but they get to enjoy it. And like you said, it's going to be something that's going to be enjoyed and for many, many years to come.
Yep. And that was the biggest thing too. And Rob, comes from the same background of the hospitality industry, which I think really plays to our favor, because in the service industry, you know, you learn how to cater to the client, and that's something I think we do really well.
Absolutely.
Is, you know, at the end of the day, we just want to make the client happy. That's the end goal, and give them the best product possible.
Yes. There's
What are
no
one of the
unhappy clients in Greene Street.
Hopefully,
I can't
well,
imagine.
hopefully not.
What's one of the favorite pieces that you've made? I'm just curious.
Definitely that steel and glass wine cabinet with the oak.
Yeah, it's on your
That's
website. Yep.
that's like yeah, our magnum opus at this point.
It's gorgeous.
But we have some more steel work coming up.
Do you have a
I'm
photo of it all filled in, like with bottles and stuff?
No, and believe it or not, the client sold the house and moved to
Oh,
Florida,
so you're
and
never gonna have
they
that photo.
left it with the house. Yeah, but they may want another one.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
I
Not
think
upset
that, yeah,
about
the
that.
designer that we did that with is actually doing their house down there. So I don't know. We'll see. I said, you know, we travel
There you
as long
go.
as the money's green.
Yeah. I like that. As long as the money's green.
Yeah, hey,
Oh, it's true. I mean,
y-
you're
we
a
have a
business.
job coming up in the Hamptons, which is, you know, it's like 4 hours away, but you know, you want to pay for us to go out there, we'll do the job.
Dude, that's awesome. What are you doing there?
Right now it's 2 vanities and 2 like wall units in the great room and maybe a closet. So we'll see. Nice woman. She's got a good budget. That's like the one thing. It's like, if you don't have a good budget, I mean, it's nothing personal. We
Well,
just work.
you want to do nice work, and that's going to require a big budget. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we just, the way we do things costs a lot of money. It's
Mhm.
not like we're not making a ton, you know, some exorbitant amount of money. It just
Right.
costs that much money to do it the
Right.
way that we do it. So if you don't have a big enough budget, we just can't do the job. Like, we'd rather pass on the job than do it a way that, you know, we're not comfortable with.
Right. It wouldn't be your work.
Right.
Yeah.
If we
Oh.
wanted to do that, we would have stayed at the shop that we worked at and, you know, just half-assed it all the time.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
You're putting your name on everything. You're only as good as the last thing that came out of your shop. So like you said,
Mhm.
you want to make sure that every single thing that goes out is as good as it possibly could have been. And like you said, it can only be done when the finances are there.
Yep.
Agreed. Yeah. That's cool though. Hopefully she's an entertainer if it's in her great room. I'm just thinking more jobs for
Mhm.
Jeff and Rob.
Yeah, we
That's-
want socialites. That's, if you ever heard of
yeah,
Sam Maloof,
exactly.
that's how he got so big.
Yeah,
You know.
you have to find the right customer base, and
Mhm.
that sounds awesome right there for you. And yeah, as long as you don't mind the travel, then you're great.
No, just factor into the price.
Mm-hmm.
We bid a job in Nantucket last year. We didn't end up getting it. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know how far that is. That's really far. That's
Oh,
like
yeah.
maybe 10 hours from us.
Yeah, I mean it's a tip of Massachusetts, so you're
Yeah.
going all the way. Yeah.
You're talking ferries and
Mhm.
it's
Yeah. Logistics
crazy.
for just like getting things there.
Don't forget something at the shop.
Yeah.
When you have to go to Nantucket.
That just makes me think of Ricky TV though, like, because I don't know if you follow him at all, but he does a lot of on-site builds. And whenever he's going to do the installations, it's just every single tool from his shop gets put into the back of his truck. And he usually will record himself loading it. So you get to just see the chaos of like the cables coming out and all these things. It's ridiculous, but it makes sense. Like you're not going to just find that tool wherever you are that you need, even if it's as simple as a tape measure. If you're on an island and nobody has it, then
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
And you want your tool.
yeah,
Because to do good work, you know, you have to be comfortable with.
it's true.
Matt knows we spend years, you know, through trial and error, changing tape measures, pencils, any tool.
Everything you can think of. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I must have used every single tape measure that is made.
So you found the one that you like.
Yeah. So you want to be in your element when you're working.
That's really funny because in your Amazon affiliates area, and you had all your tools listed out, Matt had made a comment like, Those are definitely probably the tools that he uses, that he's gone through, vetted, and knows that these are the ones that I like and would recommend and put out there in the world. Like,
The
Yeah,
best
you
part
know
is
what? I
they're
have to go
also
and
the tools
update
I know
that.
I'm gonna like.
yeah,
I have to go update that because that's probably like there's stuff that's been changed since I put that all up.
you better now. I'm blasting it out all up on here. So it's going to get you focus on when you have that free 15 minutes. Are you putting a note?
Remind me tomorrow to change the Amazon store.
Yeah.
I
like
live
that.
off of iPhone reminders.
Yeah. Does that help you keep your business organized and just life in general?
Oh yeah, I have
Yeah.
ones that repeat. I have I must set a dozen a day.
Yeah. I like doing that. I like doing notes. Sometimes I do bad things like just take a screenshot and then it just gets lost in all my photos. It's like I'll just screenshot that. I'll get back to it later.
Yeah, I'm
one.
like the king of reading an email and then marking it as unread because then
Mhm.
I know I see that notification. It means I have to go back.
Yeah. 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 Let me just put a little note to just go back to my emails.
I try not to let anything slip through the cracks. It does happen, but
Yeah.
again, you don't want the client to have an email go unanswered for a week.
Yeah.
Because it's just not good for the client. So
Yeah. Even if you just give an update, hi, you haven't got to it yet on our agenda for this, that, it just lets them know that you're aware that you have business booked with them. And it's just, plus it's back and forth. It's just building a nice rapport with somebody too.
yeah, we pride ourselves on the communication. Like if you email me, I'm gonna email you back. If I'm actively reading it, I'm just gonna email you right back. And we, correspond with people. Sometimes you don't even get an email back, and it's
Yeah.
infuriating.
Yeah. No, I get that. Don't mind me. I'm just writing another note.
Email.
It literally was like, do this email, check that. Make sure you follow up on that. I'm infamous for trying to keep everything in my head and not writing it down. Cause then when I write it down, I don't remember where I wrote it down. It's a thing.
Oh, you
Gotta
mean
do
you
the
don't you didn't
reminder.
remember it was on the side of this envelope right here on the edge, right next to this, like the
Like
Yeah,
that
Rob is a
chaos.
king of writing, like measurements for something on a piece of wood, and then it'll kick around the shop for a while, and then it'll go into like the scrap bin or get cut in half and then go into the scrap bin. We're like putting piece of wood back together, trying to figure out what the dimensions were.
I love it.
Meanwhile, there's an 1/8 inch missing from the blade.
Oh man, we like Tiff started off the podcast by saying we live a very similar life because yes, I've cut plenty of my own notes in half. 31, 37. Ah!
What was it? That's the only place I wrote that down.
Exactly, of course. Actually, that's not true. If there's one thing I
No.
do have, it's redundancy. I have it written down on a paper. It's
On a spreadsheet. Yeah.
when you're in the moment and
Yeah.
you're trying to go through a pile or whatever, then you get to one and you're like, oh, now I got to go over and whatever. It's just slow. It slows you down.
You are well organized, Matt, when it comes to that. Cause I have noticed he does like a big cut sheet and everything. And then it's
Oh
like
yeah.
color coded. And then you just kind of like see him ticking it off. Tick, tick. Yeah.
I
Dude.
do what I can. 'Cause
I
you'll
like
lose
that,
your-
though.
you'll lose your mind. Jeff
Use
does. I mean,
technology.
Mine are not that sophisticated.
No, what's your style?
When you're doing a 7 cabinet thing, you're not going to necessarily lose your mind when you're doing 30 and like 60 doors and all this crazy stuff. Like that's when I feel like, at least for me, I don't know, I can't keep it all together just without having at least this kind of some attempt at a system.
Yeah. Mine are pretty simple. It's like might say A is left side face frame styles, and then I'll have a dimension 1.5 by 84 or whatever.
It's nice
you're
general
right.
outlines.
You guys are smart about that because you do stuff that's a little bit more universal in that sense. Every single style of your kitchen doesn't need to be labeled as to exactly what it is. You're just going to assemble it in a way that it doesn't matter. And once again, I'm in my own way. I'm not saying what I do is the right way at all. I'm just trying to figure it out. But the way that I do it, this stuff needs to be labeled. I need to know which piece that's going to be so I can do everything to it the way that I want to do it. But
I feel like you guys would
again, that's
benefit
just-
so
we gotta
much
figure it
by
out.
like visiting each other's shop and
Oh,
just
yeah.
like chatting about how you do business and like brainstorming, because I just think that would be awesome. And I think other small businesses should do that too, is just like work together and try to figure out the best way to run your business. I think it's really cool.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best thing about Instagram for me, is being able to kick these ideas around with other guys who actually,
Mhm.
do this stuff full time, and we have to make a living doing it. So, and finding other people who are actively trying to learn and improve.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of complacency. And we kind of got into it in the last episode of the arts and crafts, the last of the 4, about like, is there a arts and crafts revival happening? And, I'm kind of brutally honest with like the quote unquote maker community. I'm brutally honest when I say like, I don't think there is, because I think most people are just kind of complacent with what they do, and the desire to continue to learn and to perfect something isn't so much there, with the vast majority of people.
Yeah. I'm just thinking too, the people who are doing that stuff, are they on Instagram? Like they should be, because
Mhm.
everybody should be. If you have a business, you should be on something, some kind of social media.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's a requirement at this
yeah,
point.
it is. Yeah. Matt, how old are you?
I am 29.
You're 29. Okay. Well, I mean, I know you guys like similar ages where you're using technology applied with your art. You know what I mean? Like you guys have bridged both of those gaps where the generation before you may not have. Maybe they dipped their toes in it a little bit, but there's this whole generation now that's coming in. And I think it's really cool that everything's kind of getting merged with technology. You guys are trying to, like you said, grow, perfect, learn. And I think it's really neat. Like, I don't know about like the revival of the arts and crafts type of building, but I just think it's neat to see the younger generation come up and how they're using that technology to transform their business and their lives. It's cool.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, you used to have like guilds where you would meet with the people around
Yeah.
you who did the same thing, but now I could talk to somebody in New Zealand
Yeah.
or wherever. So you're not limited by what's in your locale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's huge. It's
It
cool.
makes you so much better too. Like you said, the ability to skill share, watch other people, see other people, other methods. How about this? It allows you to advance. If you choose, Jeff, once again, somebody who's in self-interested in becoming better. If you teach yourself and look and constantly try to watch and learn, you can go 10 years in 5 just because you can be constantly, like you said, bouncing ideas, trying to learn, watching other people. It's like a accelerated track almost. If you really want to find out, like you said, that's how you came in. You weren't leading the trim crew. Within a couple of years, you were. It was a lot of hard work on the job, but also having an interest in it, going home, learning how
The
to
extra work.
or whatever, learning different techniques. It started even for me before I ever had any presence on Instagram. I was super deep into watching YouTube because like you said, going back to like imposter syndrome, all that. I didn't want to go out and start remodeling somebody's house, knowing in the back of my head I didn't spend every minute I possibly could to try to learn as much about this, what I'm going out and saying that I can do. I have a lot of experience, but I also wanted to have as much extra experience as you can pick up. It's the internet, it's free. Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that.
Yeah.
It's
Matt
fun.
nailed it with that one. Yeah, no, but it's true. Like, why limit yourself when you can learn so many things? I think that's how like the maker community is though. Like, I didn't know how to like hand route or carve a sign. I joined a Facebook group and everybody shared all their details, and that's how I learned. Like, like it's neat. You can
It's
learn a
cool.
lot on your own by trying things, but if you can ask somebody or watch someone do it, it just speeds up your learning and just connects it really fast.
And it gives you the confidence too. At least for me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so much of what I do is monkey see, monkey do. I watched this dude do it. I know I have 2 hands and a brain. I can do that. practice a couple times safely, whatever, learn a new tool. Obviously you're cautious or whatever, but
Oh yeah.
you can mimic somebody's body language, position, all this stuff. Like you said, once again, somebody who wants to pay attention, wants to truly be better. There's so much just that can be picked up. You can watch a silent video, and if you are watching for the right things and trying to pick up on the right things, I mean,
Right.
there's stuff to be learned. It's awesome.
Like, ooh, how'd they do that? Oh.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be the same like subject matter. Like I don't know if you watch Matthias Wandel, wacky Canadian engineer, worked for the company that makes BlackBerry, and he does all kinds of weird. He's not like a fine furniture maker or like a traditional woodworker like that, but the number of things I picked up off his videos of him just making random stuff is insane.
Yeah.
Mechanisms, different. It's cool watching how it's all connected. Like you said, little ways machines work. It's all you can learn. It's cool. It's fun.
That's sweet. So for people who don't know you, Jeff, what are your like favorite people who inspire you? Like just a little bit more of people who get you excited that are out there on Instagram.
Let's see. Thomas Moser's a big one. Big fan of everything they're doing over there. They're at those Moser on Instagram. Let's see, the George Nakashima page. I'm a big George Nakashima fan. It's run by, I don't know if she's running it, but his daughter Mira runs everything over there now.
That's cool.
I'll be honest, there's probably so many that I couldn't even tell you the name. I couldn't even tell you the name because I see their I'm horrible with like social media. There's people that I talk to all the time that I probably don't even follow and I don't even realize. But yeah, a lot of I'm really into contemporary and mid-century stuff right now and sort of like the Bauhaus stuff. So I've been seeing a lot of accounts with weird names that are making that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you see me repost something in my stories, that's something I'm into right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you're going to Makers Camp again or no this year?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. Tentatively, I'd say probably with about 99.9% confidence, Matt will be involved. We'll be doing a little woodworking exposition.
I like when I put people together for a podcast and you're already working together on something, perhaps.
Hypothetically. It's a secret laser project. We can't talk about it.
There you go. There's your secret laser project. That's it.
We're going to build a laser. It's going to actually set the maker burn on fire from.
That's so cool though, because like last year we all went to just go and like whatever. And now 99% sure that you guys will be doing something there. And I will be too. So that's cool. Like I'll be at the Saburrtooth power carving tent. So I'll be there with Sadie from the Awesome Orange. So nice. I like that we went there as a 10. Well, I carved last year, but I kind of like, I just did it. I just like got sponsored and just did it. It wasn't official, but this year it's official. It's pretty neat.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's like the podcast. We want to go and share some of what we know.
Yeah.
Because I think there was definitely a desire last year to, learn some woodworking and there wasn't really anything available. So not in like sort of this more traditional woodworking.
Right. Well, there was some power carving, some wood turning, like pen turning.
Yeah. And the like axe handles and stuff like that. But that's a whole other animal.
Right. That's completely different. So that's cool. That's nice. I hope it comes through fruition that last little tiny bit. And,
I think we're still figuring it all out, but we made a big leap I think the last time we met in terms of planning. We kind of just had to take the bull by the horns and
just get it done.
Yeah, like okay, we just got to buckle down and just come up with something because
this is what we're doing.
So I think Wednesday we should be meeting again on that.
Nice. And then before we go, is there anything else that you want to shout out that's going to be happening or talk about?
No, I'd say if you haven't checked out the podcast, check it out. Check out our Instagram. Yeah. Let us know what you think of the furniture. We're always open to talk to anybody. If you have a question about something that we're doing, a technique or a finish or a tool or anything, I get back to everybody. So again,
You
we
work
like
with
to share our
yeah.
knowledge.
So you work with, is it vesting finishes too?
Yeah.
That's cool.
We're affiliates of theirs. We've been using their finish religiously since October of last year.
Yes,
So
it's Maker's Camp because I remember you brought
Yep.
some with you. Yeah.
yeah, Zach, the rep from vesting, actually came out to the shop like a couple days before Maker Camp.
Yeah.
And demoed everything for us. And then he was like, do you want to bring this up there? I'm like, yeah.
Let me tell you, it 100% worked, because I've told you already, but there's a UV LED purple light with my name on it in the mail somewhere right now. So
Oh yeah.
I'm a convert. I'm a full vesting. I went in full. That's the full commitment. When you buy the light, you're in fully. You might as well have gotten vesting
Tattooed right on you.
It's not a bad idea.
This episode is now, sponsored by vesting. No, I like when you find a product though that it works for what you do, and then you actually really enjoy it. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's something. Once again, the guy's done a lot. He's tried a lot. He's tested it, and and at the end of the day, he has a high ballpark that needs to be met.
Right? Yeah.
How about this? And I've seen it in person, so I'm 100% sold.
It's a really, really nice finish.
It's insane. I mean,
It's easy and it's completely repairable. It's you can spot touch it up. It's got so many things going for it.
It's gorgeous. Let's just leave it right there.
Yeah.
It's easy and it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. There you go. Another little corner of Matt's shop is getting filled.
Yeah.
It's small. It should be a little box.
Yeah.
I don't take up too much room at all. And actually, if I was really smart, like these guys, I wouldn't have gone and done a paint booth. I would have just had the light, and I could just finish out here because it's 2 seconds, perfect clean.
You still need it for all the cabinets you paint and stuff.
Yeah, inevitably somebody wants something painted, unfortunately.
Yeah. You're not gonna just put finish on it. Yeah.
No, we're not rolling on any or not wiping on any paint. That technology is yet to come out. If you can start wiping paint on with a rag and paint it with UV light, now we're talking. Now we're living in the future.
Right.
Yeah, black and white. I think you can definitely do, but white, they do have a white pre-stain.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Matt's gonna be ordering that later. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for both coming on and hanging out. I appreciate it. And
thanks for having us.
I appreciate it as well.
All right. Well, if you enjoyed what you heard, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or on your listening app. And if you like to save money, don't forget NIGHTCARVER saves you 10% on wall control, and NIGHTCARVER 10 saves you 10% on Saburrtooth power carving tools. I'll see you guys next week, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.